Okay, I think we are good. So, we're going to talk now about Cosmoprof, which if anyone doesn't know what Cosmoprof is, it is a huge, huge beauty show. In fact, Cosmoprof Bologna is the largest in the world. I think the oldest beauty show as well. And it is a multi-day experience. If you're not in Italy, you can go to the one in Vegas. Now there's one in Miami. There's also one in Asia. And I think there's one in Istanbul.
Yeah,
Um,
there's one in Istanbul. They're trying there.
yeah, I've done the North America, both Vegas and Miami before. I've done Vegas when we launched, we did a booth. And then I've gone as just a visitor. And this year I went to Cosmoprof Bologna as a visitor. And I did 3 days and it was crazy. Just the amount of stuff, you really can't even do it all in 3 days,
Hmm.
which is shocking if you think about it. And I mean, several football fields worth of brands, products, ingredients, manufacturers. And they have them divided up by country and then also by type, category. So, you just go down these halls and it's just one after the other. First of all, the booths, they've come a long way. They are like $100,000 sets. They're like movie sets, little mini movie sets, these booths. They're crazy. But I wanted to talk about some of the trends that we spotted coming out of Cosmoprof, because there were quite a few. Some are not going to be shockers at all, but when you start to see so many brands talking about things, it starts to paint a picture where the industry is going. And we've talked about a lot of these trends too. So let's see. Wellness and beauty merging. Now, and I will also, a sub-trend to that is the idea of invasive procedures being commonplace. The amount of needles that I saw, and people were like 5 years ago, that would have been like, that's really edgy, like who's gonna do that? And now they're everywhere. So I would throw that under the wellness bucket because or even the science bucket, because there was a whole like skincare, the natural conversation's gone, science is in, everything is science backed, a lot of science conversations and words. And then a couple more that I thought were interesting, food inspiration, stuff
Hmm.
that smells like chocolate, bottles like champagne, candy packaging, a lot of,
Comes back though, right? I mean, we had it
yeah,
in the 80s and then it disappeared and
it
then it come
felt
back in the
very 80s.
2000s.
Do you remember those Bonnie Bell lip
Oh yeah.
things? It was like that. I felt like there was a lot of things that reminded me of that. Which was very interesting. And then there were a lot of interesting textures where there were products where they either had changing textures like, oil to foam, or you shake a toner because it's like an oil and vinegar bottle and you have to shake it to like emulsify it and spray it. A lot of really interesting and beautiful, some with colors, a
Hmm.
blue and a green, and you shake it, just very interesting textures. And then finally, the amount of rainbow colored packaging was like so dominant. And what I mean by that, it's like if you have products where now yours and mine are not this. We are very brand consistent. And I actually think we are going to be the ones that stand out. But if you had a product that had several variants, say you have a moisturizer, one's for oily skin, one's for dry skin, one's for normal skin, one's for anti-aging, one's for whatever, you put them each in, one's in blue, one's in red, one's in green, one's in yellow, and there's no consistency with your line. So you look at it on shelf and it literally is a rainbow. The problem with that is that if you put that next to other brands that are also a rainbow, it's so difficult for consumers. trying to navigate the shelf where everything looks different and nothing is consistent. There's no block, we used to call the brand block on
Oh
shelf
yeah.
where it was like, you'd see the color, you'd go that, okay, I know. Now you have it, I have it, you've got the black, I've got the green. Those are going to stand out. I did not see a lot of black products and I did not see a lot of green products.
Oh yeah. Remember when we were first starting, they were like, the branding people were like, oh, you have to be one color and you have to have this many products. And like, none of that is true. That's true. But
That
I
is true.
don't like overcolored products, because then you have to remember, okay, yellow was for what? What am I gonna do? And also they were
Right. Or if you
talking
go to buy it
about,
again and you're
yeah,
remembering what brand was it? I know it's the yellow one, but
yeah,
what
but
was it
which
again?
one? Yeah. So, for example, my products, for example, they talk to Gen X and Gen Z and, millennials, but they don't like that colorful anymore because if they did, Glossier wouldn't be getting out of business right now, right? They were closing stores, all that pink is gone. So people are overloaded with color, and people think that, okay, we're paying for the color, what's in it? People are getting more, I think.
Yeah. I think it's just one of those trends that's going to be, it's like you can spot a Gen Z website very, it's that pastel pink, the
Hmm.
pastel yellow, the light blue, the certain typeface, like there's certain cues. But it looks hot for a minute and it looks dated already. Now
Yeah.
I see the websites and I'm like, it's dated already. So I think it will be interesting to see how this plays out because that's a big investment for a lot of brands packaging, and to change the color is a fairly dramatic shift.
Hmm.
So I would say if you're a small brand, in my opinion, don't do that.
Yeah.
Use little blocks of color on your packaging that can signify different variants. But don't just go for the trendy thing because
Yeah.
it's not going to stand the test of time.
I think Bioma does that, right? Every color for everything different. And even Drunk Elephant, remember how they chastised it? We
Yeah.
did because the tops are so bright colored, the kids were going for it. So that's another danger once you have the
Well, oh my
real
God, all these
color.
products look, to your point, they look super kid friendly.
Yeah.
I'll,
And that's
I'm
what
looking
they're
at this
going
stuff.
for, which is
Yeah,
going to be a huge problem for a brand
it is.
and also lawsuits following with that?
Oh, I didn't even think about that aspect of it, but you're 100% right. Because we've also done a video. So if anybody's curious, look at our video we did about marketing to kids, which we did. It is a real challenge. And I think some of these brands don't even realize that that's what it's conveying. I mean, it literally looks like Crayola box,
No, you know.
so okay, let's dig into though some of the wellness and beauty merging and science taking over skincare. I mean, what is your take on those two trends? They're not surprising. We've seen them coming.
Now, we've been talking about it for a long time, from
Yes.
the scene and behind the scenes. And it's a good thing, because it's about time that real science merges with the beauty, because there is really good science out there. However, we need to make the clarification, which is real science backed up with real scientists, doctors, dermatologists, biochemist, immunologist, you name it, who is behind it versus a brand comes in and says, I'm science backed. I'm like, okay, where's your proof? You don't have a proof, you know? And I talk with those brands and sometimes, oh, we need to put like paper. I'm like, you can't have a paper just for niacinamide. You can't have one paper. You need at least five papers. That's not going to happen. So that's the thing. So we're gonna see more of this. And of course I think we're coming to the also, as you said, natural is done. And I think we're gonna see clean beauty becoming obsolete because I saw the other day on Allure, nobody wants vegan beauty anymore. So vegan beauty is out. It's not fashionable anymore. So science backed, it induces trust. You know, you think like, okay, I'm getting the good thing.
Yeah.
They did the research.
But the tricky thing to your point is if you're just a regular person like me versus you, which you know all the science, I don't, it's very easy to be science light and just to put a few, throw in a few buzzwords on your product and your packaging and have consumers actually think that it's science when it's not.
Yes.
And that's a little bit of a tricky spot because you don't want a situation where you're called out for your products not actually being what you claim they are. I mean, at least with clean beauty and natural, even though there's not a standard, there are expectations around what that provides. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, most people know clean beauty is not going to have phthalates, it's not going to have sulfates, certain ingredients are not okay. Science, it's sort of like it's kind of the Wild West of what clean beauty was in a sense, because I mean, the amount of sort of DNA structures as graphics on
Right.
packaging. I'm just talking about things like that, like people will throw those things in just to make it look sciencey,
I know.
but it's almost like science washing. That's the new term we're going to coin.
That's gonna happen. That's the thing. So no beauty product can change your DNA, and you don't want to change your DNA. Do you want to become a mutant? I mean, if we're becoming like
Right,
Xavier
right.
or Phoenix and Marvel Comics, I'm all for it. I wish it would happen. But that's another thing. We need to be careful about science washing. And that's why, I would urge people to visit Power Beauty Collab and reach out to us and we can help with the science. I mean, we have the people, we have the sciences, we have a
Yeah,
biochemist,
we have several scientists in
have
our collab who are
immunologists,
founders.
and
Yes,
we're willing to help anyone with the real science so they don't. And there's another side of this. A customer can say and come back and say, or even a company can come and say, hey, you said you were scientific, you said you're doing this and this,
right.
but
And
you're
you're
not
not.
doing it. I'm gonna sue you. What's gonna
That's right.
happen then? You know?
I mean, that is
So
the risk. And
that
and
is
so
the
it's
risk.
it was hard for me just doing the kind of trying to be quick walking through because there's so much to see to really understand these brands that are projecting that, what's the rigor behind it? Have they really done the due diligence? I don't know, but it's certainly something we're going to be seeing a lot more of. And I do think there are going to be, I think there's going to be quite a bit of science washing, if you want to call it
Oh
that.
yeah. And I'm gonna be
Um,
hitting my head to the wall.
yeah. And then the wellness is sort of becoming more holistic is interesting too, because a lot of products now have functional benefits.
Hmm.
Fragrance is now functional benefits. It's not just for smelling good, it's for feeling good too. And a lot of products are trying to do that multitasking so that they're contributing to your overall health. There was quite a bit of ingestible supplements,
Hmm.
which is not new. We've seen that, but things that do more beauty benefits as opposed to just, you're taking a multivitamin.
Yeah.
Uh,
But that's
and then,
here's the one danger about the supplements. So
yeah,
um MDs, doctors don't like that too much because then you can over supplement yourself and have health problems. Like some of the vitamins are oil soluble, and if you're getting too much without paying attention, you're overloading your liver, which causes problems in the long run. So, also at that point, the science becomes really important. Who really has, because with the ingestibles, you want to see real clinical data or some kind of
yeah,
a thing. It's not like skincare or something. You're eating it versus you're
yeah.
putting it on your skin. So I would love to see what is it doing? Who is behind it? Who is the producer? What's going on? So that kind of makes me worried about the ingestibles. And I think Kardashians are pushing out a new ingestible, by the way.
Yes,
And it's all pink and sugary and all that. It's just electrolytes. I just looked at it.
right. Well, there's so many weird things people are taking now, which we won't get into. Maybe we'll do that on our next. Well, yeah, you know what? Actually, we should, because there are a couple things that are very controversial. So I think we can talk about that next time. But for now, I think we've covered a lot of ground. So
Yeah.
I think this was a really good overview of what we can expect in the next year from brands and things to watch out for. So put your comments in below. Let us know what you're interested in, what trends you're seeing, and if you have questions, and we'll